Okay. Hello, hello. Welcome. It's been a long time since I've been on this channel. I have babies now, like multiple. I have two babies. Two babies. About a year and a half ago, my wife Erin gave birth to twin girls. I know I did a whole video about how the guitar is really hard, but it turns out babies are a lot harder. So yeah, that's what I've been doing for the last long time. Yeah. What is this video about? If you've ever tried to learn more than just the basic open chords on the guitar, say anything from like here to here, you'll immediately hit a wall of just how do you know anything that's going on here? Like, how do you know which notes are which, and how do you pick which ones to do and keep track of all of that? Just like what's happening? And practically everyone I've taught a guitar lesson to has asked me some version of these questions. It's a totally universal phenomenon, and yet it can feel like you're the only one, because when you watch someone take like a wicked guitar solo or play something very complicated on the guitar, it's just like they have some natural comfort with the instrument that they must just get it in a way that you can't and you won't, and there's no way you can achieve that. And yet it is possible to achieve an understanding of the guitar's fretboard, get comfortable on it, find your voice on the instrument. That's what we're going to do today. Today is going to be the first in a series of what I like to think of as building your mental map of the guitar. It's the most essential question about the guitar. Where are the notes, and how do you keep track of them? Since I made a whole video about how hard the guitar is, it seems only fitting that I should try to make some videos about how to actually figure this thing out. I'm going to try to aim mostly in the beginner zone for this lesson, but I know right off the bat there are going to be people that are coming from very different places and have different questions, and I really want you to ask all those questions. I want to do this in a more dynamic way than I did with the Rhythmic Building Blocks series, which I had a really specific curriculum in mind for. This one I want to be kind of like guided mostly by what you guys who are watching want to know about. Today we're going to start trying to build the mental map of the guitar's fretboard from, like, you know, in this all this stuff. When I think back to my experience of learning the fretboard, it was slow and it was piecemeal. Like, some aspect of it would become clear and something else was still hazy, and then suddenly something would become clear about that, and then I kind of would make a connection between those two things. And it's actually really cool to have those aha moments. Imagine like different colors that come together and overlap to create like a full spectrum of color. That's kind of how I think about it, because the fretboard is such a complicated matrix. In order to grab the notes that you want and anticipate the different formations that your hands have to make just to get to where you need to get to, you really have to learn it a bunch of different ways. It's a slow process. This is definitely not one of those
do this one thing and get better at the guitar today kinds of videos.
This is like a long-term agreement that we're going to look at the guitar from a bunch of different angles and really learn it for real. So with that being said, let's get into it. To get started on building our mental map of the fretboard, we're going to start with something that every guitar player really needs to know, and that is power chords. We're starting here for two reasons. First of all, because unlike scales, power chords are something you can use right now to play songs and make music. As useful as scales are, they don't sound particularly musical just being played up and down. It sounds like practicing. And secondly, power chords actually provide a really good foundation for understanding music theory on the guitar. Okay, so what is a power chord? A power chord is just two notes. We have the main note, and then a second note that's a fifth above the main note. And we play them together. If you don't know what I mean by a fifth above, think about a scale. Do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do. But instead of singing those syllables from The Sound of Music,
do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do,
you're going to sing numbers. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 1. The fifth above the 1 is the 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, so we're going to leave the music theory there for now. We'll definitely be continuing to learn about that as we go along. Like I said, we're going to be constructing the full picture slowly. So just think of music theory as like one of the colors. If you don't totally get what we were just talking about, that's fine. That's actually very normal. It would be kind of weird if you got it right away. That'd make you some kind of natural born musical genius, and then what are you doing watching this channel? Okay, so we're making our main note F, which is the first fret on the 6th string. We can play that. We can all play that. Okay, and then our second note is going to be a C, the 3rd fret of the 5th string right there. So we're going to play those together. And really, if you still don't totally get the whole 5th thing, it doesn't even matter. All that matters is the visual of what this looks like. This shape is a power chord. Okay, so if we're in the key of F, then this chord is going to be our 1. So if you're playing a song in the key of F and someone says, go to the 1, then you just play this chord. Boom. You did it. Now, what if someone says, go to the 2? Well, we need to move our chord somewhere else. No matter what we do today, we're going to move these 2 notes together as a unit. The power chord will always stay the same shape. Now, to get to the 2, we're going to move up 2 frets from the 1. Why do we move 2 frets and not 1? Don't worry about it. So, we got our 1, and we got our 2. And now our practice is just to go back and forth between those 2 chords. And as you're doing this, you're going to say out loud the number. 1, 2, 1, 2. And when you're doing this, you're going to do as little weird rearranging of your fingers as possible. You're kind of going to just pretend like your fingers are frozen where they are and they're moving as a unit. As slowly as you need to. Literally, could not be too slow. Doesn't matter. Whatever is where you're at is fine. I'm just doing it fast now because I'm impatient. So even though our hand is frozen in this position, we're not going to think of it as tense. It's going to be as relaxed as possible. It's very important that when you push down, you only push down with as much force as needed and no more. And as with all guitar playing, it's very important that you also move your fingers as far towards the fret as possible. This direction, so that you're practically right on the fret. That's going to make it a lot easier to play. It's going to be cleaner, and you're not going to use as much pressure. A couple of quick side notes. You can use either your ring finger or your pinky for your second note. You should probably use your index finger for the low note because anything else would be pretty weird. Also, as an option, you can just leave off the second note and play just the main notes, just like a bass player would. This is totally fine and will teach you just as much about the guitar's layout. The reason why we do the power chords is just because it's more fun and it kind of gets you one step closer to playing full chords. Now, I sort of lied before when I said we aren't going to play scales because we pretty much are. It's just that instead of playing the scale in kind of the more typical way, we're going to be playing it in power chords. We did 1 and 2, so the next note is going to be 3. 3 is 2 frets above 2. Why is it 2 frets and not just 1 fret? Don't worry about it. So now we've got 1, 2, 3, and what you want to do is practice playing those and saying it out loud. 1, 2, 3, and always go back down. 3, 2, 1. 1, 2, 3, 2, 1. The thing we're trying to do is connect in your brain the number with where it is on the fretboard in relationship to the key that you're in. So what we're going to do to increase that learning is to not just go up and down. We're going to do kind of random order. So 3, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 1, 3, 1, 2, 3. This way you're really testing yourself to see, do I really know which number is which, or am I just saying numbers in order like a toddler can do? Well, I guess I would say having toddlers, they definitely can't do that. Like a 5-year-old? When did they learn numbers? I don't know. I guess I'll find out soon. Point is, we want to be smarter than a baby. That's what I'm trying to say. Now here's where it gets trickier. To play the next chord, the 4, we're going to go to a different set of strings. But the nice thing is that we're going to be back where we started on the first fret. This is our 1. To get to the 4, we're going to put these 2 notes up a string. So we're going to do a B flat here, the first fret of the 5th string. And we're going to do, for our second note, we're going to do an F, the 3rd fret of the 4th string. So that's our 4 chord. So now let's go from 1 to 4 and back to 1. 1, 4, 1, 4, 1. Now let's go up the scale. 1, 2, 3, 4, and back down. 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay, and again, like we did before, we're going to do kind of random patterns. 2, 4, 3, 1. 3, 1, 4, 2. Okay, so continuing onward, we're almost done. We just got 2 more chords, and we're going to do one right after the other. To get to the 5, we're going to go up 2 frets once again from the 4. Why do we go up 2 frets and not just 1? Don't worry about it. To get to the 6, we're going to go up 2 frets from the 5. Why is it 2 frets and not just 1? Okay, so that's it. That's all the numbers that we're going to do today. So hopefully you're kind of seeing now the pattern. 1, 2, 3 is exactly the same as 4, 5, 6, just 1 string higher. Let's go up from 1 all the way up to 6 and back down. 1, 2, are you saying the numbers out loud? You got to say the numbers out loud. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And now let's do some patterns. Let's go 5, 3, 6, 2, 4, 1. 5, 3, 6, 2, 4, 1. Yep, and that's it. Now, you can pretty much play along to 90% of songs out there. A lot of times people will use this in real world scenarios on a gig or whatever. Say like the bridge goes to the 6, or this song is 1, 6, 4, 5. And it's really just as simple as that. Some of you might be wondering, what about 7? Aren't there 7 notes in the scale? And yeah, there are. But just forget about 7, okay? We hate 7. What about other keys? Now that we are going to talk about. But fortunately, on the guitar, this is the one thing we have that other instruments don't have so easy. By definition, if you know something in one key on the guitar, you know it in all 12 keys. All you have to do is move everything up and down the fretboard. So we learned this in F. If you want to play it in F sharp, all you have to do is go up 1 fret. If you want to play it in G, you go up another fret. And so on and so forth, all the way up the neck until you get back to F. Now, does this mean that this is the best possible way to play in a particular key? Not necessarily. For example, let's say you're in the key of E flat. This might be kind of an awkward place to play a whole song. It's a lot more likely that you're going to want to find some way to play the same thing in a lower part of the neck, but that's something we're going to talk about in the next video. Thank you for watching, and a special thank you to my patrons over at Patreon who stuck with me on my extended parental leave. I really appreciate you, and if you're interested in joining that, you can find that at patreon.com/ChrisMcQueen. There's all kinds of extra little bonus videos, behind the scenes, teaching, playing, arranging, all kinds of stuff. And if you like this video, please feel free to like and subscribe, and I'll see you next time. Bye. That's it. I think we did it.